and welcome. I am Matthias, and this is day 3 of Orlando, and this is my lovely wife. Whoa, hey.
Amanda Faye.
My vicious wife. I'm just kidding. You're just gonna bite me. So it is raining and windy.
It's only supposed to rain for a couple of hours.
It's only supposed to rain for a couple of hours, but we have to brave it anyways. As you can see through the screen.
People are still out there running. I've seen like 4 or 5 people just now.
This is Florida, babe. Florida, people are used to the rain in Florida. It doesn't faze them. It rains like every other day, so they just have to go about their lives and pretend like it's normal. Well, it is normal, so.
We just drove by the helicopter place, and I saw a sign yesterday that said $15 starting helicopter rides, but it's not up today. We just drove by again, and it said $20 helicopter rides, but that's the kids' starting price. So I don't think we're gonna be taking a helicopter ride because they're really expensive. But right now we're off to Dr. Phillips.
Yes.
Which is
1,000 feet, turn left onto Darrell Carter Parkway.
Where I used to live.
Yeah, sorry, Google is just so loud. Where he used to live, and we're gonna go have breakfast at a place called Kiki's Breakfast Cafe.
I think I slightly remember Kiki's Breakfast
Turn left onto Darrell.
Kiki's Breakfast Caca? No, that's not what it. No, I'm sorry, Kiki's Breakfast. Oh my word! I'm so hungry right now. My brain is not functioning. Kiki's Breakfast Cafe.
We'll check in after we get some food into him.
We just parked, and I noticed we're at Kiki's, and there's a Steinmart right there, which is funny because if you can kind of see, there's a Steinmart right there. My mom used to always go to Steinmart. That one, I'm pretty sure it was this Steinmart, but. And then there's some other stuff in there. Publix.
Publix.
It's called Publix for those.
If you're 12.
Well, I did live here when I was 12, so it's called Publix. I'm sorry.
I don't know why you'd pick a name for your company that could so easily be made fun of.
You know, you can make fun of any name if you're smart.
Yeah, like Jack in the Crack.
Jack in the Crack?
Yeah,
that's a good one.
You've never heard of that?
No, I haven't. I'm not smart.
We're here at Kiki's, so let's go eat some food. So I got a breakfast wrap with vegetables and eggs and sausage, and Matthias got some huge pancakes that are bigger than the size of his head.
Look at this, I like how there's 2 plates.
Yeah. That's, they look yummy.
This is the YMCA that I used to, that I used to do swimming lessons at. And you know what? I was 12. And I knew how to swim. Obviously, I lived in California and stuff like that. However, my parents, I don't know, maybe for recreation or something, wanted us to do like advanced swimming lessons. And that was actually a lot of fun. Usually I don't like doing extracurricular things or things with real people. I mean, you guys probably agree or know at least what I'm talking about a little bit.
So where's your house?
So right now we are where I used to live. It's a little subdivision, which means it's like just a loop. And then it goes back, and there's only one entrance to this entire loop. And what that means is like no one would ever come in here unless they lived here because there's no way to get out. But look, if you look straight ahead, you can see just like, it's just all trees and all covered. I just loved it because I love trees. You guys know that. I love trees. I don't know why. So it's still a little bit raining and stuff like that. But we're gonna go to the Millennia Shopping Mall because that was somewhere where we checked out back when I lived in Florida to kill some time so it's not raining anymore because it's supposed to stop raining in like an hour. And then we're gonna go take a walk around where I used to live and stuff like that and some of the places that I used to go. But it's just so interesting because it's like a weird point at which your reality turns into your memories because like when we first moved back from Florida to California, you know, Florida was a place where I still kind of thought about, and we still had connections there, and it was kind of, you know, still kind of represented you. And then like slow as time goes on, it like kind of faded away to the point where it became just a memory, and like you no longer identified with it, and it no longer represented you. So it's just so weird. It's surreal seeing something you haven't seen in like 12 years. At one point in your life it was just so vivid and just happening. You know what I mean? I don't know. Some of you will know what I mean, some of you won't know what I mean. Like if you haven't had huge shifts in your life, you know, where everything changes, then you might not understand where I'm coming from. But it's just such a surreal experience having something just automatically or just randomly just shift and just everything changes, and it's still like so fresh in your mind, but then it just fades away, just slowly fades away to the point where it's just this distant memory. So we just stopped at Best Buy to pick up this lens. As you can see, it's super, super tight. And this will help us get, I guess, a little bit more of artistic shots. It's actually stabilized too, which is nice, but I wish the other lens could do that. And it's like super shallow depth of field.
Oh, that's why.
This isn't a mirror, babe.
The rain.
Gosh.
So there's this car in front of us and it says Yellow Cab Co. But it's orange.
How dare! I think my sister had a job in this shopping center back when we used to live here. Can you see it in there? It was like a, I don't know, it was like a hoagie shop or like a yogurt shop
Hoagie?
or something like that.
Sub shop?
What do you think a hoagie is, babe?
Hoagie is so hoagie.
What?
Like Southern.
That makes no sense. So my sister corrected us. She used to work at a cleaners. That's what it was. I can't remember how long she worked at it or if she stuck with it or anything like that, but it definitely was in that shopping center. Because I remember like having my parents drop her off and pick her up and stuff like that. But this right here is
somebody's backyard?
It's kind of, I don't exactly know exactly what this area is, but this is a park back here behind us. And over there behind us now was where I went to school. I'm gonna go show you that here in a second, but this is a point at which when we were on a walk, like literally right here, this is the grapefruit story with Poppy. If you recall, there was a time at which Poppy, my grandfather that just recently passed away, he was visiting us in Florida. My grandparents were visiting us in Florida, and this tree right here, this one, and I think that one way out there, was just lush with just grapefruits just everywhere. And like, I think the owner was like, oh yeah, pick as many as you want. And it was like halfway to the grapefruit tree already. It was pretty funny. That's one of the funny stories that we tell because he always loved grapefruits. So this is the school that we used to go to. Don't want to do too much here because you don't want to look like a creep. Because this is a school I went to when I was like 12, but it was called Windy Ridge, and just like any school I imagine when you're going to it when you're 12, it's awkward. Awkward as hell.
School is still awkward.
School is always awkward. That's what I'm saying, no matter where you go. But I definitely have lots of memories here. Doing like homework and cafeterias indoors and stuff like that. There was no like lunchtime. We didn't ever have any lunchtime. It was like well, like we had a lunchtime and it was like 30 minutes or something like that, but you went to lunch and then you went to class. You would literally go into a cafeteria and eat, and then you go back to class.
That's it?
There was no time where you could just socialize and walk around and stuff like that. It was really strange.
You guys were in advanced school, weren't you?
Yeah, well, it was an advanced school, like an advanced school. This was like where like, because California is like ahead of Florida in terms of education by like a year or so. So like when I went to Florida, instead of going a grade above, they just put me in this advanced school. So yeah. Before we're about to head and take a walk around my subdivision that I used to live in, the one that we previously drove around because it's not raining now, we stopped and parked here, and this is Fresh Market. This was like a upscale grocery store that we never really shopped at unless like, we got some, like, we found some money or something like that, or someone gave us money like for our birthday or something like that, and we'd come in here and get food. But this was kind of upscale, so my parents didn't really shop here because it was expensive. But this is the Fresh Market, and like I remember a story here was that my mom got me like strawberry daiquiri jelly beans for like Valentine's Day once, and like she didn't realize they were strawberry daiquiri. She just thought they were strawberry. I mean, there was no alcohol in them, but the flavor of them was so unique, and I haven't had them in like 10 years. So if you've ever had that sensory recall, you know what I mean? Like when you taste something or smell something when you haven't smelled it for so long, it'll bring you right back.
The this is what you mean by upscale. This is very fancy.
That's literally an olive bar. But I remember I always came here for one reason and one reason alone. Candy. These are what you can actually scoop things out of, okay? So these are, you know, like in normal supermarkets where they have like the plastic bins and stuff like that. These are jars that you scoop stuff out of. We lived kind of across the street from Fresh Market. Oh yeah, I didn't realize that this was a, and so we're gonna go take a walk around our subdivision and kind of show you where we lived and some of the things that we've done and stuff like that. But other than that, it's usually generally a lot quieter after you get into the subdivision. This is it, by the way. One of the funny things Amanda noticed that's different than like where we live is that you're not allowed to park on the street here.
And there are no sidewalks.
And there are, well, we're on a sidewalk.
Okay, there's no sidewalks next to the street. They're like in.
Yeah, there's in. So as you can see, it's a bit farther inward, but you cannot park on the street, and I like it. I wish our street was like that. It looks a lot cleaner, it looks a lot nicer, it's safer because you can see, you know, if kids are running out, you know, they're not behind cars when they're just running out into the street randomly. Not that I've ever had a problem with that, but still. I absolutely love the fact that the trees overhang over the street. Yeah, it's pretty awesome. I wish, it's always shaded, it's nice, you know.
This mailbox is pretty cool.
It just feels so much more like like I guess the East, you know? California, it's not like this, you know? There's not much overhanging unless you live in like Beverly Hills, and even then it doesn't look this nice.
In older parts of certain towns, there are trees like this, but they're hard to find and come by.
Yeah, these are the streets that me and my brother and my friends used to make up a game called, like, I don't know, scooter battles or something like that. We would ride around on our Razor scooters with lightsabers and try to hit each other off.
So it's like scooter jousting.
Yeah, it's like scooter jousting, except you could swipe. We had some major like welts. This was my house behind me. As some of you already know, because I was working off a picture sometimes when I was doing some Minecraft Let's Plays building it. But that was the house. And I spent like, I don't know, a year and a half, 2 years of my life in. At which point, you know, during puberty is like when everything's changing and everything's just crazy, but there's like, you know, there's always that constant of my family in my life. And I don't know, and we had a friend up one house and we had another friend up down the other house. Michael and Matt were their names. I don't think they live there now, but you never know.
Their parents might still live there.
Their parents might still live there, yeah. So now we're on the other side of this place, and there is this big, open, empty, what? Oh, is that big old hawk over there? He's just staring at us. Look at this hawk. Well, that was pretty crazy cool, just a random hawk.
There's two still over there.
There's actually two over there. But as I was gonna say, right here behind us is what you call a retention pond or something like that. I'm not entirely sure, maybe you guys know what a retention pond does. I didn't spend enough time in here, and I was 12 to actually care what a retention pond is. It's probably something to do with like water flow, and since it rains so much here. But we would play often in that. I mean, think about it, it's just a giant field right behind our house that, you know, they don't build in for specific reasons. But yeah, that's kind of the whole tour around the block. Hope you guys enjoyed that as much as I did. Alright, well, we are going to go to one of my favorite places to eat while I lived in Florida, but it's permanently closed.
And now there's a Dave & Buster's in its place.
What's a Dave & Buster's?
Joey loves that place. It's like arcade game. It's like Chuck E. Cheese for adults.
Oh,
it's
really?
like arcade games where you get beer, you know, you drink and you play games and you eat food. And
It's not something I want to do with my wife. But look, I want to show you a picture of what it was. Race Rock was this kind of like NASCAR sports car, kind of like sports bar kind of a thing. I know it's unusual for me to like that, but it was so cool because I love cars. But they had cars hanging from the ceilings.
It's a helicopter. It's a helicopter ride.
So basically, they had stuff hanging from the ceilings. They had boats hanging from the ceilings, cars, airplanes. It was so friggin' awesome. Let me just show you the outside. You can kind of get an idea for what it looked like. You can see the cars hanging from the ceilings and stuff like that. It was very similar to how it looked on the inside, but they're permanently closed. We went to Florida because of my dad's job, right? So my dad worked for Walt Disney, and at the time they were paying him to live out here, and they were like supplying the rent on the house, and they were giving us like a stipend of some amount.
Like a food allowance?
Yeah, like a food allowance kind of a thing. So my parents would say, hey, okay, what you can do then is every kid gets a weekend to choose where they get to go to eat.
Friday night.
Every Friday night we would go out to eat as a family, and we would pick. And like I would either pick Perkins or Race Rock all the time. Everyone's like, again? I'm like, yeah! Now we are on our way to
I don't even know how to pronounce it.
Carrabba's Italian Dining. And this is a place, I guess, that was maybe one of Joey's picks or Sarah's picks during those
But do you remember it?
Friday nights. I kind of remember it. Although it has been remodeled, we read. So
And
maybe I don't remind a new ownership. So
They said they like it better.
it might be a little fresh, but hey, it's got decent reviews.
So I got hot tea because I'm freezing. I don't know why I'm freezing, but these are the teas that she brought. They come like this, and I was kind of curious, but this is what they look like. The one I'm drinking is chamomile citron.
Today, as we end day 3 in Florida.
Is today day 3?
Today's day 3 because we counted day 1, the flight.
That's right.
Which is a little strange.
It is. It's a little strange because I feel
But it was
like,
it was day 1 of our adventure.
Yeah, day 1 of the adventure.
So anyways, so today's question of the day, because today was all revolving around revisiting the past. So today's question of the day is, if there is one distant memory or something of the past that you would want to revisit, what was it? What would it be? Would it be a place, visiting someone specific, something that you used to eat? I don't know. What memory would you like to revisit? Mine was obviously the entire video that you guys just watched. Amanda, what about you?
I don't know.
You
That's
have to,
a very tough question.
It's a very tough question, so maybe you'll answer it tomorrow.
Maybe. I just didn't have. I didn't do a lot of things growing up.
Yeah.
Like he traveled a lot. I traveled as far as my grandparents' house for the good 16 years of my life.
Well, we're making up for it.
Oh, we
Me and
definitely
you,
are.
we're making up for it.
Yes.
All right, guys, thank you very much for watching. Hope you are excited to see Epcot tomorrow. Yay! High five. Okay, so there's a dragon here on Gringotts Bank that breathes fire, and I want to get it, so I'm going to show you.
Say Wingardium Leviosa. Wingardium Leviosa.